Hatha means Ha means sun, Tha means moon. Without sun and moon, there is no Hatha Yoga. So, historically, because I am not a scholar, I do not know when they use this name for the first time as Namaskar or Surya Namaskar. But the practice, the way it's taught different ways in a few different places. I'm not talking about the distortions, I'm saying consciously taught in different ways in a few different places for different purposes. Within the ashram, I think largely many people are practicing 4 different versions of Surya Namaskar. I practice a different version, that makes it 5. Largely it's called Surya Namaskar because mainly to activate the solar plexus, to generate the heat in the system, to raise the samath prana or the solar heat in the system. When we say solar, it is not just symbolic. I want you to understand, all heat that you experience on this planet is essentially from the sun, stored and released in many ways. All hydrocarbons have formed the way they have formed essentially because they're all sun-baked. If you take a piece of wood and burn it, it is only releasing the solar energy. If solar energy is taken away, the whole planet will freeze into solid ice. Research says, in 18 hours' time, all the oceans will become solid ice, in 18 hours. If the sun vanishes right now, by day after tomorrow morning, everything will be solid ice, nothing will be liquid. So, everything is run by solar power. You may think we are generating power by thermal or by gas or by this. No, everything is happening because of solar power. Only exception could be, I'm not sure about this, I would like to know the technicalities of it, could be the breaking of the atom. That is not solar. And that's why it is considered the most effective and the most dangerous, because you are not using the normal powerhouse of the solar… of this system, which is the sun. So when we activate the sun in the system, the body begins to glow and shine, everything. If you have certain types of problems, which manifest usually in the form of excess mucus in the system, not just in your nasal passages, all over, the mucus levels can rise. One who is doing Surya Namaskar, for him, his glandular secretions and mucus levels will be very easily balanced and in a good shape. And this determines a lot of things about you, not just your physical health. Your physical health, your psychological health, your spiritual possibility, everything is determined by this, depending upon how much of solar energy within you, or in other words, how balanced are your secretions. If your glandular secretions are slightly imbalanced, it's very hard even to sit here and listen, forget about meditating or doing something else. It'll make you feel crazy because chemistry will go wonky. So this is one of the simplest and the most effective sadhanas to bring that balance. Now when we commence the Hatha Yoga school, we will start teaching a certain form of sun-related practice, very much like Surya Namaskar, but it's called Surya Kriya because it involves a certain level of breath and other things. Surya Kriya is an effort, and a wonderful effort, to bring your system in synchronicity with the rest of the solar system. Surya Namaskar, and there's one more called Surya Shakti, these are country cousins. Finer things if you tell people, not everybody will understand. So you kind of make it, dumb it down a bit. If you bring a certain synchronicity with yourself and a larger body, this is the smaller body, the larger body is the solar system. If these two things are together, your physical, psychological and material well-being will happen without effort. Everything that you do will happen well. So, Surya Kriya is the practice. Surya Namaskar is dumbed down a little bit. Surya Shakti further dumbed down, more for building muscle and physical culture. It's very aerobic in nature. It's a complete exercise. You don't need any equipment. If you're in a hotel room, wherever you are, you do the necessary Surya Namaskar or Surya Shaktis, you will see you're completely fit. There has been such a dynamic change in the sunspots. There is going to be very dynamic change in the sunspots in the coming 6 years. So whenever such changes happen in the sun or in the pattern of the way the sun functions, always it has been found phenomenal changes happen in human consciousness. But it is not a directed change, it is not a guided change. Changes will happen. Like a full moon day or a new moon day, on these days, there are certain changes happening within a human being. Most human beings do not notice it, but it is happening. If you were psychologically fragile, then you would distinctly notice it. People who are psychologically imbalanced for some reason, on that day they will find they're much more imbalanced. So it is happening, but those who are meditative will become much more meditative. Those who are gentle will become much more gentle. Those who are loving will become much more loving. Those who are insane will become much more insane. So, it will set a certain pitch, but it does not direct. If you are completely at the mercy of the forces around you, you will be very volatile, up and down. The whole ocean is rising. So, you think nothing is happening in this body? Definitely it's happening. Now, the sunspots will definitely create some kind of volatile energy. But how it will work out for human beings is left to us. That's why I said, if we have a prediction and wait for it, we don't know how it'll go. If we have a plan, any volatile situation is also a possibility because things are mobile, things are more fluid. This is the time to craft things the way we want. So it is a possibility. Does it mean the possibility is only now, it's not been? No, always these things are happening. At certain times, it may be a little more than other times. So in terms of nature, in terms of how the planet functions, how the natural and celestial forces function upon this planet in the coming 6 years is going to be somewhat different. Maybe somewhat is not the right word. Different in a reasonably marked way. So if we have a plan to make use of this volatile nature, if we prepare enough people who have the necessary sadhana, who have necessary focus within themselves, then definitely human consciousness could rise much more easily than other times. In that way, it is little more conducive, but one must understand, it's like this, if the wind blows,
If you fly like this, if you have an airplane and if you fly into the wind, effortlessly you will fly. Suppose you're in the wrong direction, you will crash. Wind is just blowing, not to make you fly, not to make you crash, it just blows. But it's up to you whether you use it to fly or to crash. So right now, sunspots are significantly different in the coming 6 years. Because of this, there will be some marked difference in the way the planet functions. We can rise or we can crash. I have a plan to rise. Please go with me.
Sadhguru